So today I'm doing my labor and delivery story while he's taking a nap. I've just like my third time trying to do this video. But at least I put him to sleep. But the story. So on Tuesday, I believe it was the 8th, I started getting back pain in my back. I had a doctor's appointment that day, and I'm like already kind of wasn't feeling all that great. So I didn't go to school or anything like that. The next day comes around, my back is kind of feeling like a little bit worse. So I still didn't go to school. And then on Thursday, I was like, something's not right. Something's like really wrong. We need to go to the hospital. So my husband's like, okay, let's go. So we get there. They check me. I'm at a 3. I am getting some contractions, but they're not like evenly apart, I guess you could say. So they had me walk an hour. I'm still at a 3, so they sent me home, and I was like, something's not right. Like, I don't need to go home. Something is not right. And they were like, okay, well, we have to send you home anyway because nothing is progressing or anything like that. So I was like, watch. I'm gonna be back here tonight or tomorrow. Just watch. So after we leave there, I go and walk with my mom, and later on that night we go to bed and everything like that. And at 4 o'clock in the morning, I don't know something just woke me up. Like, I don't know what it was, but whenever I woke up, I felt very wet down there, and it wasn't like your typical discharge while pregnant wet. It was like, did I pee myself? Like, that's what it felt like to me. So I turn on my side, I turn like on my not on my side, but I turn like on my back kinda to go to get up out of the bed, and I feel like a little more of it spill out, and like whenever I had actually stood up, I felt a big old boom, like just like fall out of me, and I was like, see, if I was tripping, I would have just said my baby just fell out, but so I wake up, I wake my husband up, I was like, hey, I think my water just broke. And as I'm walking to the bathroom, he's feeling on the bed, and he doesn't feel it wet, so he goes back to sleep. And I had on a onesie, so I unzipped it, and, the blood was just, like, I just had blood everywhere. And I had, like, a big old blood clot just sitting in my underwear or something. Okay, that must have been, like, what I felt whenever I stood up. Because, like, literally just felt like something said, blop. So I was like, ooh. Okay, I don't know what that was. I don't know what it was. So I found out it's a blood clot. I start freaking out. I'm like, Derek, get up. You need to get up right now. And he gets irritated. He was like, I know, she ain't sitting here cussing me out for no reason. And I was like, I'm bleeding. And he was like, what? And I was like, I'm bleeding. And his mom, comes out there. And she's like, what's going on? Like, why? It's too early in the morning for y'all to be doing this right now. She looks in the bathroom because her room is like right next to the bathroom, and she sees like all the blood on the floor and everything. And she was like, she just got quiet. And we're like trying to rush up out the door to go to the hospital, and I'm just like shaking uncontrollably. Like, at that point in time, I thought that my son was dead, and I was like really about to be livid. So it's like, I told y'all something was wrong. Y'all didn't want to listen to me, so I was just livid. If I didn't hear a heartbeat whenever I got there, I was ready to just go all the way off. Like, I honestly was. So, we get to the hospital, the little security person's trying to talk to us, and I'm not trying to be mean or nothing to her, but I'm just like kind of trying to rush to the elevator because I'm bleeding. And she saw that I was pregnant, so she was like, oh, hi, how are you tonight, and stuff like that. And like, she sees the back of my onesie, and she was like, oh, and then, like, she hurries us up to the elevator. She's, like, pushing the button for us. And, my husband got on the phone. And he told them my name and told them that I was bleeding. And I kind of felt like they were thinking, oh, she's probably making it up, whatever. It's probably, like, nothing. The blood's probably not even concerning. So, whatever. So, I get up there. And they all look shocked. Like after they saw the background ones, they were like, and I was like, niggas, I told y'all I was bleeding. And they had me get changed into like a little gown or whatever and lay in the bed. And Like, the nurse comes in, like, one of the nurses had came in to check me, and while she's doing that, she's sitting here talking about, okay, well, I think we're going to have you walk for an hour, and all this and that, and then if nothing happens, we're going to send you home. And I'm sitting here thinking in my mind, like, I'm not going home with all this blood coming out. I would go in that bathroom and lay down and say, oops, I fell, I hurt myself, need to check on my baby. So she gets my underwear down to check me, and actually, like, because, like, you have to, like, kind of, like, lift your butt up, like, you just have to, like, lift your butt up like that, so they can, like, pull your underwear down, then you just lay back flat. So, as I was doing that, another blood clot had fell out, and she was like, no, you're not walking. Like, you're going to stay in this bed. And I'm going to go call your doctor. So, she rushes out, she goes to call the doctor. There's, like, I saw two doctors that day, but I don't want to say the names, because I don't, like, want to get in trouble or anything, which is why I had to restart recording this. So she calls the doctor that was on call at that moment, and I was pretty familiar with him, because, like, I've always, during my pregnancy, I either saw him or I saw one of the other doctors, and there's a total of 3. So she called one of them that I was already familiar with, and, I guess I had to wait for him to come and, kind of see what was happening, pretty much. Because, like, you can only say so much over the phone, like, you really can't even fully tell the whole extent of it. So he comes, and he walks into the room, and I heard, like, the happiest words, like, I've ever heard. It seemed like heard, but I'm not talking like that. He walks in, and he's like, oh, I think you're in labor, because, like, I was getting contractions, but they were like, kind of spread out, so I don't know. And, like, at this point to where he had came, I did start feeling them, because at first, I wasn't feeling them at all. So he comes in, he's like, oh, I think you're in labor. So I had to wait for them to get the room set up and everything like that, and while this is going on, I had to use the bathroom. So I'll go, and another blood clot, like, falls out, and I use the bathroom and everything like that. And I'm like, hey, another blood, like, I'm sorry to tell you, but another one fell out on the floor. And she was like, oh, I'm like, no, I can't help it. If I have to go pee, I gotta go pee. So, and then it's like later on, I get into, like, the delivery room or whatever. And I was like, I have to go number 2. And, like, my nurse was like, you're not getting out of that bed. And I was like, I have to go. Like, I know it's not the baby, but I gotta go. And she was like, you can't get out of the bed and go. Like, you can't sit there and push. And at that point, I wasn't thinking, like, okay, I could push the baby out. I was just mad, like, she wouldn't go to the bathroom. So I was like, okay, well, if you want to clean it up, that's on you. But I had a whole attitude, because now I was feeling my contractions a lot more. I don't really think it was the pain exactly, but after time went on, I felt like it got worse, because once I felt the pressure of his head, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to end up pushing. Like, I can't help it, because on top of going dookie on top of his head, whoo, that was the hardest thing ever. Like, I was sitting there, legs crossed, hoping I wasn't crushing his head. I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is like the worst. This is worse than the contractions are. So, like, I'm sitting there, and my husband's neighbor is calling his phone. And that's his best friend's mom. So it's like, she was, like, kind of checking up. She kind of heard a little bit about what had happened. So she was calling, checking up, saying, like, oh, is she in labor, stuff like that. And while he's on the phone, I get this really big contraction. I was like, man, Jeff, stand me up right now. And she's like, when she heard that, his neighbor started crying, because, like, she was like, oh my gosh, she's in so much pain. Like, I've never heard her talk like that before. Like, she's, like, on the phone just bawling. And he sits me up, and, like, he kind of keeps his arm by the bed. So that irritated me. I don't know why, but it irritated me so bad to the point where, like, I almost bit him. So I almost bite him. Time goes on. the epidural dude comes in, and that was the second happiest thing I had seen that day, was that epidural. Girl. Whew. So he gave me the epidural, and after he gets done, getting it into my back and everything, I'm like, it's not working. Like, my right leg is all heavy, but my left leg, I can move it still. So it's not working. And he was like, well, if it's not working here in a few more minutes, because like I did just do it, typically it takes like 15 minutes. And then we'll put you on your left side to have the medicine kind of flow out that way. So he a little bit, like 5 minutes had passed at this point, and I'm sitting here like, it's not working, it's not working, even though I couldn't feel nothing. I was like, but because of my left leg, I was like, it's not working. And then everybody just starts laughing at me. I'm like, wait, it's not. And they were like, you just had the biggest contraction you've had since you've been here. And I was like, oh. So he, like, since once like he knew that it was working, he had left. And my brother-in-law and his little family had came in to, like, come visit, stuff like that. And they kind of had to, like, go behind the curtain because she had to put my catheter in. Because, like, once she knew that I was numb, she had to put it in. And I was like, that's going to hurt. You know how small my pee hole is? It's going to hurt. Like, I was just sitting there freaking out. She was like, really? And I was like, what? She's like, I'm already done. And I was like, oh. So, we visit, whatever, and after she puts the catheter on me, she checks me. I think I was like about a 6, maybe. And, we're just talking, and at this point, it's like 11, I believe. And we were just sitting there talking. I tried to go to sleep, but it wasn't really working. There was just too much going on, in my opinion. So I just couldn't go to sleep. And like another hour passes by. The nurse comes in, and like while she's coming in to start checking me, she's like, okay, well, the other doctor, who I don't really know all that well, had like some appointment or doctor's appointment or something. So the other doctor that I didn't know, that I hadn't seen yet or hadn't heard about yet that day, she said that she might be delivering my baby. So I get all happy, like, yes, finally somebody that I know. Like, that was like my favorite doctor. So I was like, all right, good, come on, let's do this. She texts me, she's like, you're at a 10. And I was like, what? And at this point, it's like noon. And like, as we were waiting for the doctor, we started pushing. But I was pushing like a whole hour. But the doctor that I barely knew ended up coming back anyway. So she was like, okay, well, just let me know whenever you can see his head at, I guess, like, there was like a certain, like, she could feel his head, but she couldn't like really see it. And like, I was pushing for an hour, and his face was like turned up, like, it's like, this is like the top of my area, and his face was like that instead of it being like the back of his head. So it was making it harder for me to push him out. So we had to stop pushing after an hour passed. At this point, it's 1 o'clock. They had me getting like these different positions to kind of turn him around. I'm not really sure if it worked or not. I don't really remember. But right before it was time to push again, I think at this point it's like either 2:50 or 3 o'clock, considering the time that he was born. The lady, earlier that day, she told me if I turn your epidural off, I'm going to tell you. She didn't tell me. She turned it off. So I'm sitting there. I was like, I feel my contractions, and she was like, "Oh, I turned it off." And I'm looking at her like, why didn't you tell me? Like, I'm sitting here thinking I'm crazy, thinking that I'm about to, like, really? So it's time to push again, and I was like, I felt it like down in my area a little bit, but it wasn't like too bad, I guess. It was just weird, but I felt my contractions in my stomach and my back. And like with every contraction, I would push, and I was like bawling tears because his heart rate just kept on dipping, and it was doing it earlier that day whenever I had first got there, but it wasn't enough to concern the nurses. But at that point, it kept on dipping down, so I was terrified. I was like bawling tears, and they had knew, like they had known that I didn't want to get the suction cup to keep his head out, kind of. I didn't want to do that because if you get that, then there is a chance that your baby could hemorrhage and die. So she was like, I'm gonna get the I'm gonna get the cup if you don't push like you need to. So I don't know what happened, but I said, whoa, I started, like I really just started like. So his head gets out to where like he's like this far out, like his head was out, his neck was out at this point. The cord was wrapped around his neck, and the nurse jumps up like, okay, let me get the cord. And the doctor says, no, just leave it. I'm looking like, no, get out, like from around his neck. Like I got so mad whenever she did that, and on top of that, she was sitting here making a mohawk out of his hair. I'm like, lady, if you not get this cord around his neck, I swear, like I was just, oh my gosh. So I get, and then like she spent like at least 5 minutes playing with his hair. Really? So I finished pushing him out and everything, and like they take the cord from around his neck, and it kind of seemed like she got a little bit irritated with me because as soon as he came out, I was like, get the cord around his neck, and I don't want it to be cut right now. And it seemed like she had got like a little bit irritated whenever I had said that. So they give me my son, and I'm like all happy, like everything just blurs out. Like I don't know what was said from that point or nothing. Like the pain for me just seemed to go away, even though my epidural was still off. Like I didn't feel the pain. Like I did not feel none of my stitches. Like I was just so focused on him, and he had the cutest little cry. Like I miss it. Like he still does it now. Like whenever he starts crying, but he'll be like, and then like right before he pushes, like he sounded like a little cat, which is so cute. So I'm like all focused on him, and like then they take him away because like he wasn't crying like he should have been, but he really didn't like full on cry until like a week after he was born. Anyway, so they finally cut the cord, and like they're doing his foot, like they gave him back to me, and like they were doing his footprints and everything, and like they smell like they have like a smell like whenever they first come out, and it's like because of the waxy substance. I guess that's what I was smelling. It was weird, but it released something. I just felt like totally calm, and everything just, I don't know. I guess it's like a hormonal thing. But so all that stuff's happening, and he was born at 3:48 p.m. on November 11th, and I was just so happy. Like I finally had my baby. He was here safely. Like that was just like terrifying. And honestly, when I think about it today, I think it was like, God saying, like, sending a sign, because they said I didn't have a placenta abruption. Like they couldn't figure out why I was bleeding, basically. Like they just couldn't figure it out because everything seemed fine. So I started thinking like, okay, well, because God, he knows everything before it even happens. So I guess maybe he knew the cord was around his neck and his life was in danger, that he just sent the blood to come out to get the nurses and everything to get all that stuff to happen. That's how I look at it. And I'm like so thankful that he is here safe, and now he's 3 months. So that's my son just sitting there knocked out. So it was pretty intense, like very intense. I did try to breastfeed, but he wouldn't really latch. And at that point, I was just like so tired. I was like, just give me a bottle, like, please, like, because he wouldn't really latch on to it, and it was like hurting. And they say it's not supposed to hurt, but it was hurting. So I was like, just give me a bottle, because I was tired. I just did all that work. I was already in pain, because now at that point, after I done calmed down and everything, I felt a hoo-ha. Ooh, that right there. So I was like, I don't want to be in much more pain. So like I tried it. And I was like, just give me the bottle. But after we did get home, like I was pumping and giving him the milk, but that Like, but then it got to a point to where like, my boobs hurt so bad. Like, they hurt so badly. I couldn't pump. I couldn't move. I couldn't do nothing. Like, that's how bad they hurt. So he just stopped getting breast milk because like I just could not do it. So now he's on formula, and like I really do wish I could get my milk back so I could give it to him. Like I just really wish I could. Like I just wish I could go back and just, but you can't go back. Everything happens for a reason. So that's about it for my labor and delivery story. If you have any questions, you can just comment down below and I'll answer them. If you have like any questions about my labor, and I'm not trying to promote teen pregnancy or nothing, like, and I feel like some YouTubers, they kind of sugarcoat it a little bit. That was scary. Like, if you have a whole bunch of blood dripping from you and you're pregnant, like that far, like no matter at what point in your pregnancy, you're gonna think that you done lost your child. So that was like really scary. Like, that was nothing to joke with. Like, you never know what can happen. And it's best to just wait before you even have kids, because the younger your body is, the more complications you're going to have in labor, during your pregnancy, stuff like that. So it's just best to just wait. I mean, I'm not trying to wish nothing upon y'all, like teenagers, but what if this happens to y'all, but y'all weren't as lucky? Like, you've already done bought all that baby stuff that your parents most likely bought, because if you're my age, you might not really have a job that can buy everything. So like, that's just like a whole bunch of money like your parents could have saved up for bills and college and stuff like that. So just get your education, get married first before you have kids. Like, have your own place, because if you're not in your own place, adding a baby to the situation makes things a lot more stressful. So, just be on the right track before you add kids into the equation. So, because like, it is very hard. So think about that. I am thankful that I have my son, and if you are pregnant and you're a teenager and you want advice, I mean, you can ask me. I'll leave my Instagram in the description box, because I could probably help give you advice. It's like, we're both teens and having kids and everything like that. So thank you for watching. Hit the subscribe button down below and like and comment, and I'll see you in the next video.